This season, I dove headfirst into 5 wildly different builds so far in Last Epoch. Some were sleek and stylish, others were sweaty, busted, or straight up chaos bottled into code. But each had its own flavor, its own story, and now it's time to rank them up. From the ones that rewrote the meta, to the ones that rewrote me. Link to full build breakdowns in the description. Ready to disagree with me in the comments? Let's get to it. At number 5, the Harvest Lich, the emo kid of the build roster. Off meta, mysterious, and a build I'm genuinely proud of because this one started at rock bottom. Early game, it was so painful I questioned my life choices. Mid game, every echo felt like an episode of Dark Souls. But I refused to give up. I tweaked, rebuilt, and then it finally clicked. Suddenly, I was leeching through chaos, face tanking corruption bosses like I owned the place. Where it shines is synergy, the way each skill feeds into the next, like a perfectly oiled curse machine. The moment you shift into Reaper form, it feels like you just turn into a raid boss, and suddenly you are the threat everyone else should fear. Aura of Decay shreds armor, Bone Curse amplifies the pain, and when you drop Death Seal, you become the final act in an apocalyptic opera. However, this build does not forgive mistakes. Get cocky and get hit too hard, you are snapped out of Reaper form like someone yanked the power cord. Then from there you got 2 choices. Take it like a champ, or run for your life until Reaper form is off cooldown. And don't even get me started on range. Harvest swings feel like you're trying to duel a dragon with a toothpick. You got to be in their face, uncomfortable close, which thanks your clear speed and demands perfect positioning during boss fights. This build was my redemption arc. It went from face planting in every echo to face tanking bosses like it was personal. Watching it grow into something genuinely powerful made me proud, but past 300 corruption, the cracks started to show. The damage ceiling hit a wall, survivability got shaky, and suddenly, my scythe felt more like a butter knife. But there's hope. ESG recently teased some spicy Harvest reworks in Season 3.
There's some cool stuff around Harvest that I would love to be able to just tell you that's coming, but I can't yet.
You better believe I'm circling back to this build when the patch drops. Who knows, next season it might go from the underdog to top dog and rewrite the meta entirely. At number 4 is a Sub-Zero Sorcerer, a build that made me feel like I was spamming spells at light speed while skating on ice. I didn't expect to fall for it, but once the pieces clicked, it became one of the most fluid and elegant playstyles I've tried. Every glacier slams like a cold freight train, shattering enemies well past 600 corruption. You teleporting across the battlefield like you own the place, freezing time, stacking ward like armor from the gods, and turning mobs into frozen statues before blasting them into snowflakes. And the passive lightning bolts? Oh yeah, baby. You are basically the Storm's chosen one. Run into a chunky rare or smog timeline boss, drop a couple of volcanic orbs, and watch them melt faster than your mana bar during a cast spree. This build is pure elemental chaos. It's slick, stylish, and ridiculously satisfying to watch in motion. But let's be real, this build is not for the faint of heart. To really squeeze out its top damage, you need to juggle buffs like Ice Barrage uptime, Flaming Wall timing, and mana refunds from teleport, all while dodging and positioning like a wizard high on coffee. And then there's Volcanic Orb, which burns through your mana like you left the faucet running. If you don't build around a massive mana pool or carefully space your Volcanic Orb cast between glacier spams, you'll burn out mid-fight. Especially in long engagements where you can end up dry, sprinting around with no mana, like a mage at a mana potion convention that ran out of stock. Still, I had a blast with this build. The more you invest into it, the smoother, deadlier, and more defensive it becomes. I didn't take it as far as some of the giga wizards in the community, but every time I logged out of the game, I couldn't wait to get back to it. It's not just powerful, it's a full-on performance. Every teleport, every glacier cast, every icy explosion feels like you're choreographing your own highlight reel. Whether I was clearing echoes, styling on dungeon bosses, and Aberov himself, this build made me feel like a battle mage with stage presence. Sliding into number 3, the Serpent Venom Druid. This one doesn't even bother with nukes. It drenches timelines in portals. Mobs dissolve, bosses rot, and you just vibe in a Swarmblade form, like a nature team blender. This build surprised me. At first, it felt chaotic and random, like I was piloting a jungle storm with a blindfold on. But as the gear and the skills started to stack, it transformed into one of the smoothest, most passive-aggressive killers I've played. Poison, frostbite, totems, tornadoes, all firing off with almost 0 button presses. Everything just kind of dies around you before you notice. And I ended up crossing 1000 corruption before I even realized. Where does it shine? Sustain, flow, and autopilot. You barely need to think once the engine is running. You shift in, start swinging, and the next thing you know, your tornadoes and totems are the only thing left standing, and you turn to your Spriggan like, wait, where did everything else go? Where does it struggle? First off, your PC might hate you. With all the tornadoes, poison effects, totems, and minions flying around, it feels like you're asking your GPU to render an entire documentary in 8K. I'm over here running a 4090, and I still had frame drops when things really popped off. Then there's the Spriggan. Oh, the Spriggan. I spent more time reviving this thing than playing the game. He will die, I'll res him, and 2 seconds later, guess what? A high corruption, it got so annoying I nearly benched him for good, until I discovered Haka's Phoenix. Free auto-res, yes please! Now I can focus on slashing timelines instead of babysitting a leaf wizard. Oh, and your main attack? Super short range, like uncomfortably short. That means your clear speed takes a big hit, and don't expect this thing to be a zoomy echo farmer. You're here to rot things slowly, not race to the finish line. But would I play it again? 1000%! It's chill, absurdly powerful, and weirdly addicting. Just be aware though, this build might catch a nerf in the future, as it's currently scaling with uncapped sources like vitality and damage over time stacks. So enjoy while it lasts. Coming in at number 2 is our silent killer, the Umbral Blades Falconer. This build is pure performance art. It's a shadow ballet where every move is timed, every trigger is prepped, and when the combo hits, bosses simply evaporate and nothing stays on your screen for more than a split second. At first, I didn't get the hype. I saw people posting about the build on Reddit and thought, probably just another rogue gimmick. But then, I stumbled across Juice's video, absolutely obliterating Uber bosses at 10,000 corruption. I was like, holy sh**, I need this in my life. Booting up the build for the first time felt clunky. The shadows weren't sinking, the Falcon was diving into empty air, and I kept dying to random mobs. But then it clicked. The first time I perfectly lined up a smoke bomb, synchronized strike, and dive bomb in the middle of a rare mob pack, then watched the entire screen explode in blood and feathers, I was hooked. It wasn't just powerful, it was elegant. Every skill had a role, every move felt deliberate, and when the combo hit just right, it was like performing a deadly dance. Except the audience was dead before the final act. What makes this build really sing is how it layers passive and active triggers. Shadow clones drop Umbral Blades, Dust Shroud boosts your damage while giving you layers of protection, your Falcon dive bomb shadows like a guided missile, and when it all goes right, it feels like you're detonating the entire timeline with style. Now keep in mind, this build was so absurdly strong it already got smacked by the nerf hammer, and honestly, it kinda deserved it. But make no mistake my friend, even post-nerf, this thing is very much still a monster, and it tears through echoes like it's late for something. If you're looking for a speed farming setup that looks cool, feels smooth, and deletes everything before it can touch you, this is still one of the best in the game. Where it struggles, honestly I don't have much to say here. Once everything is stacked properly, you become a walking nuke, vaporizing clusters. Only downside is, it requires some serious gear to reach its full potential. Budget versions like a bow variant or less demanding uniques will work for sure, but if you're chasing the high corruption vibes and Uber content, you need specific uniques and a dual dagger setup to truly shine. Still, this build is one of the most satisfying I played. Once you master the rhythm, you're not just reacting to your environment, you're orchestrating it. And when the echoes fall silent, it's because you planned every second of its demise. And at number 1, the Heartseeker Rogue, my baby. My menace, my dopamine dispenser. This is the build I always come back to when things get rough with other characters. The one that doesn't just slap, it thrives in carnage and welcomes it with style. From the very first arrow, you feel it build. The crit multiplier stacks, the momentum ramps, and when he erupts, your enemies do more than simply die. They implode, nuking everything else on and off screen. Every dark arrow on the ground is like a stealth nuke. Every shift is a flash step in and out of death. And every arrow is precision-guided vengeance. What sets this build apart? Speed, flow, simplicity. You don't need a wall of buffs or a PhD in mana management. You just need to move smart, position smarter, stay nimble, and keep the arrows flying. She's built for dopamine and tuned for violence. While other builds dance around danger, this one hunts. Drop dark arrows, stutter step in style while shooting Heartseeker, shift, delete timelines, repeat. It's fast, lethal, and smooth like butter on a crit sandwich. If Falconer is a conductor, then Heartseeker is a solo assassin on tour, headlining every echo, every boss, every timeline. And the scariest part, how easy she is to pilot even with basic gear. For reference, this is what I was running at 600 plus corruption, so it gets even better the more you invest into it. This build isn't just strong, it's a whole lifestyle. Even players who normally stop at 100 corruption couldn't help but come back for more once they tried it with my recommendation. It's the just one more echo build, the kind that keeps you up at 3 AM whispering to yourself, okay, this will be my last run. Spoiler, it wasn't, and it never is. But honestly, I will do it all over again without hesitation. Hell, just talking about it make me want to play right now. And there you go, my friend. That's my current top 5 of the season. Got a spicy pick that slapped harder than expected? Let me know. If you're curious as to what else I'm cooking for the rest of the season, you know what to do. Thank you so much for the encouraging and kind words that keep me going. And until the next time, stay stylish, stay untouchable, and may your crits always be juicy.